time that KT need to pivot in order to bring us to those silver scrapes, to that game number 5 that we have been promised to give us, 6 out of 10 or something like that. Some ludicrous number of 5 gamers between these two squads.
I think, honestly, you could just go like Nasus, Azir, Lilia as your bans in this situation for KT.
Yeah.
Although, looks like they're going Nasus, Ashe. Maybe they ban Lilia and pick Azir themselves. I don't know if you know this, Max, but BDD, bit of an Azir player.
Did you know that if you want to pick a champion from Shurima, it should be Renekton, if you're KT? That's just how that one goes. The last ban is likely to be a Rumble, and there it goes. And now we get very sad as we see...
That's not Renekton!
Goodness! They pivoted!
That's not Renekton. They didn't do the BNK Fear X where you just do the same thing.
Just keep doing it until you lose the series.
Yeah, they've adjusted, and now T1 are like, well, I guess we have to pick the Renekton.
Oh my goodness, this is such an incredible mind game. You just play it over and over again, convince them that you think it's good, and then they pick it, and then you can win the series? Is that how it goes, Ox?
Potentially, maybe that's the strat.
No, they pick away the Smolder instead. Okay.
Still scale champions, but not as much scale zinc. Well, isn't this good? This is crazy, actually.
Hang on.
KT didn't first pick Renekton, and they might get it anyway, which just shows you that you didn't need a first picker this whole time.
I think that might actually just be the case, as Owner is thinking about opting into exactly the same thing. That's Diana. Don't know about that one being a lock-in, but it could be the option, and never mind. I do get excited about Diana. I just think that she's a very fun champion, but it's going to be Sejuani. Same jungle matchup, different players.
4 games into the series, you're like, we could have just not first picked Renekton and we would get it anyway. Are they going to pick it anyway? That's the question. If you had this much priority on it the whole time, there's no way. Like, yes, it hasn't been working, so you might want to move to something else, but
I think Rengar does make the most sense. Just start red pot, go top lane. That's what I would do.
They got Renekton anyway. Smolder's gone though. They're just gonna lock in the Corki. BDD been pretty solid. They did get some slight nerfs in this patch to his Q, mana cost and cooldown, but it's not huge. 1 second across every level on the cooldown, and
that's Vayne.
That's Zeus Vayne.
Okay.
Most likely Zeus Vayne into Renekton.
Theoretically, we could have 380 carries and a very sad Sejuani.
Just the fact that you are 4 games of Renekton in, and then you've been dealing with this Olaf who's been a headache, let's be honest, and now you're dealing with a Vayne. I will say, though, Sejuani tends to pair well with melee champions.
Yes.
This is like the least melee comp possible so far.
And this is something that T1 loves doing as well. They're like, Owner, play Sejuani. Don't worry, we'll back you up. And then they just go and pick all ranged.
And then they laugh at him like,
yeah, and like, haha, you believed us. Silly Billy.
Yeah.
In the end, Faker could lock in the Yone or something like that, play another Yasuo game, pairs up relatively well alongside the Sejuani, not only for Permafrost, but also for knockups. As there is a Ziggs ban, I think that would have also fit into the composition of KT very comfortably as well. One more ban to come through here for KT. It will be Rel taken away. A lot of respect given, even though I would have expected Carrier to want to take counter pick for his support role.
Just the Rel's been so, the Rel has really dominated, I think, the playoff matches so far.
I would agree.
In terms of the impact of this champion, so it makes sense to deny it. Alistair's still there as an engaged support. They're probably going to take 80 carry on this pick. Does reveal the flex.
Goodness.
You know what? I'm going to say it. You know what's still open?
Yeah, there's a Caitlyn Lux angle, isn't there?
Not even just Lux. If they really want to go 480 carries, Senna is still available.
Oh, God, it is too.
The maximum 80 carries in a draft. We'll see. We'll see what KT end up taking in this situation. I feel like Ez Karma wouldn't be terrible. You would lack engage. That's one concern.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't think Alistair is enough. If you want to try and deal with like a Vayne and a Smolder, there's a lot of true damage.
I think Leona is still kind of okay, right?
Leona's banned.
Oh, right. Leona's banned.
So kind of struggling with the champions left in the pool. And also, if you take like an Alistair here, you're just going to face like Kate Lux and get blasted. So they feel like forced to take Ezreal Karma into whatever T want to take. It'd be so funny if it was Senna. It'd be so funny.
That would just be way too many 80 carries. Surely it would be.
I think Kate
Lux, it's Lux instead.
It makes more sense, and it's the better duo. but it would have been so
It is still
funny.
0 permafrost.
Yeah.
Like, just nothing.
Just nothing. You know
That
what?
is so... But also, it is great into Lilia.
It's kind of like...
she kind of wants everyone to be low range and, like, meatballs, and then you just get to spin around and stuff. Now everyone's going to be everywhere and shooting you from really far away. It's going to be really frustrating.
It's kind of T1 in a nutshell, though, that they have like a winning bot matchup. Well, actually, to be honest, you know, the Ezreal Karma could do pretty well in the K Lux. Top matchup is cooked, though. Have fun, perfect. And Fake on the Smolder just to scale up. But I'm not a fan. This comp feels...
This comp feels exactly like game number 2, where it's just, it was left in the oven a bit long.
This comp feels like blind pick.
Yeah.
And everyone just locks what they want to play.
And you get into the loading screen, you're like, oh, this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
oh,
the
God.
bot lane a duo, they're on mic, so they're like, we should do full combo. Kate Lux sounds good. Like, yeah. And then like the jungler's like, oh, well, you know, I've seen a lot of melee champions recently. Like people have been playing like Salas. I got Sejuani. They'll probably, and they get into the loading screen, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah, what happened?
What
the top lane is like, I just need to counterpick my Renekton. The mid lane is like, I need to counterpick this Corki. And that is probably almost what happened. Because that is kind of what they did. The lanes actually look pretty good here for T1, but I'm interested to see how it all comes together as we get onto the Rift for this one. T1 with match point. They can win this on the red side, then they are moving on to round 2. KT will have to head to the World's Gauntlet. Let's get into it. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the 4th game, and possibly KT's last of the playoffs. If they don't manage to pick up a win here, I do think that the draft is somewhat experimental here on the side of T1.
I will say one of the weaknesses for KT's draft, they don't really have good engage, having gotten the Karma. One of the things that we saw last game was that Smolder died when he got engaged on.
Aha.
And KT don't have set engage. They obviously have this, you know, we've talked a lot on the LCK about the walk strategy. What about the run strategy, where Karma just speeds everyone up and they just charge at you? That is a valid one.
We did used to say that Sivir was an engaged champion, because you just press on the hunt, like the donkey whistle, and send him in.
Yeah, that might be the strategy here. Just barrel speeds everyone up.
So basically what you're saying is barrel is Aragorn?
Pretty much. But also, one of the things is there's a lot of poke on the side of KT. Like the mid-game spike with Ezreal, Corki, a lot of poke. So neither team really has that much engage. You know, you have the Sejuani, but it is cleansable. There's no cleanse picked up by Def, though. Obviously, no cleanse into Lux and Sejuani is a little bold. But I guess he wants the maximum power in the 2v2.
Oh, maybe it's just
don't get hit.
Maybe it's Mikhail's rush here for Beryl to start this one up.
Oh, it's got to be Shirelia's rush, right? He needs...
Oh, yes, he needs even more speed.
Yeah, Beryl is having a rough time here. Areas looks very good.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage. I believe he's playing traditional Karma as well, which I am a big fan of.
And unfortunately, Carrier can't use T1 Lux because he didn't get it.
Yeah, he did not. Taking some Qs here all over the place. Light Binding does go wide as there is the Arcane Shift forward. We bring up the win rate as they take so much damage. Oh, the flash forward from Beryl. And that will get the flash out from Gumayushi. He has no summoner spells left remaining. Only Deft's flash is up, as well as Carriers in that bottom lane.
Some great trading, honestly, from Deft and Beryl. Beryl waiting out the Ignite to use the heal. You know, really good connection of skill shots. And ultimately seeing the power of the Ezreal Karma. The level 1 of this duo is so hard to deal with. Kate Lux, really, you want the binding and the traps. That's level 2 is when you spike. So they try and take the fight to KT, and they just get kind of trounced.
Oh, that is going to... I actually thought that was going to miss, but it didn't. Light Binding is going to interrupt Deft's back. That's going to be a little bit frustrating. Both him and Carrier are now going to go for their recalls as Perfect finally gets some time to hit minions. And even then, Zeus is going to stop him from being able to do it for free.
Yeah, I remember saying in the last game, being a top laner in a pro team must suck.
It's so sad that you have to blind pick Renekton every game. Like,
yeah,
because like that's a rule, right?
Yeah, that's a factual rule.
Yeah,
I feel like Zeus, as well as of every top lane in the LCK, he is the one who will do this, and he will like consistently pick range tops into you and make your life hell.
And he doesn't even have, he doesn't have to do it on Zeus either. Okay, Faker is going to play his 78th unique pick in the LCK here in Smolder. We probably should have called that one out a little bit earlier. course, Smolder is pretty new.
Yep. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun for Perfect right now. And this is just Zeus in a nutshell. He will pick those, which is why it's surprising. 4th game of Renekton in a row. This is the first one we've seen that Vayne or like a ranged top pick into it.
Ooh, Carrier taking a big chunk of damage there as Ona.
Oh, they have a stacked wave. They want to dive, but Ona's here.
Yeah, watch out. Eep does come on through as Ona is going to get taken down to 50%. Good positioning there from Kyoshik to make sure that they do keep this bot lane safe and allow Deft to be able to pick up all of this farm.
Yeah, with 4 squishy range champs, it's such a volatile lane. You can see the pushing wave, the cover from Ona is just...
Oh, man. Well, that is a tumble that's going to get a flash. And it's understandable because I think that if Zeus had have just pressed, like, auto attack condemn, he might have just died.
It's so doomed.
Yeah. It was always going to be a very rough time for the Renekton.
I'm surprised he didn't... I mean, I guess they wanted the bot lane 2v2. That was the priority because obviously they did well there. But man, help a brother out. They really should have swapped and just given him anything.
Yeah. I actually expected that it might just be a lane swap as BDD was moving up, and he's going to get sneezed on here by Faker as the Valkyrie just to try and get BDD out of there.
See, I think what you're forgetting, Max, is that you swap for bot lane. You don't swap... No one cares about top laners, you know.
But at least, like, but Renekton is a great champion regardless of whether you get, like, lots of farm and win lane and stuff, right? Like, late game power of the Renekton's, like, really high.
Anyway, the bot lane... yeah, it's... well, at least Vayne falls off, right? Yeah.
Like, because she doesn't have true damage in her kit or anything.
Well, true damage is fine, as long as it's not percentage HP true damage.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So at least wait, but hang on. Yeah, I'm just going to not think about it.
Yeah.
And then that might make us feel a little bit better about Perfect's plight, because as soon as you put too much thought into it, it does make you sad.
Yeah, but KT getting some pressure back here.
Oh, Beryl steps on the trap, waits for Gumyushi to be a little bit out of range, so he doesn't get headshot. I like it.
With the Ezreal Karma, if you can position in a way where one of you is on one side of the wave and the other's on the other, very hard to position, because obviously against Ezreal Karma, a lot of skill shots, you want to hide behind the wave. But if they have like a triangle position, you just can't position behind the wave comfortably. You just always get hit by some skill shots. Sadly, we're going to return to top lane. Perfect is going to actually get to hit a wave briefly.
Oh, cannon?
Oh, the cannon!
Oh, no!
Oh, it's over.
Oh, he gets condemned under the turret and cannot take his cannon.
Yeah, this is... I don't even know what to say to that. That's so sad.
You know how that, like, when you look at Perfect's player cam as well, oftentimes it just looks a bit sad as Owner is coming over here. Faker actually already winning out the trade regardless of that fact, as now Carrier could be in trouble. Has just ignited Deft, as Deft running out of mana just a little bit, but will still connect the W. Kyoshik comes on in, and Deft able to get himself out of the way of the Lucent Singularity. Still going to take a turret shot. That does have the Inspire Shield, as Kyoshik able to dance his way out of Owner's Winter's Wrath.
A lot of aggression.
Yeah, a lot of focus on bottom lane as well, which is continuing to make us sad on behalf of Perfect, but it is still kind of working out here for KT. They are ahead by about a wave. Whoa, he was actually kind of up in the lane. Nutty.
Yeah, he's just rushing. He's like, kill the wave, kill the wave, kill the wave, run, 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 run. Get out.
Yep. Honestly, hasn't died. So we're going to say that's a positive.
Well, he hasn't died in League of Legends, but I think internally he's constantly dying.
Oh, man. It is just one of those things. You know, sometimes you just get the really rough matchup as the ward does go in.
Dude, wards are so OP.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, I think he's just biding his time. He's like, there's going to be a point in this game where I will stun the Vayne and she will die.
Yeah.
And I will just...
Maybe Lilia
relief
will come up and she'll help me.
Do you think do you think when you get into a game like this, KT just mute top? You think, like, Perfect's like, hey, it's a great time. You can probably gank now. I think the Vayne's overstepping a bit. And they just literally just moved him out the call. He's in his own call by himself.
He's just actually... it's going to be a nice little catch on to Deft, who does take that delayed punch of damage.
Yeah, even though KT have kind of had, for the majority of the time, the pressure in lane, T1 really have had the pressure when it matters, as in when they're able to hit the tower. And it's 3 plates to 1 in favor of T1, so...
Yeah, and Beryl actually roamed up, I think, to try and contest for grubs. As Light Binding once again going to connect. Carrier just so good at landing these. As Beryl not going to die, but the turret is getting close. There's Def chasing after them. We'll still be able to get the cannon. Good news.
Yeah, a little bit scary. That's the thing is once you hit 6 for T1, a lot more threat in the 2v2. And also, you know, once you got those traps and just chain them, it's a lot of power. But they are a bit low on mana, so I don't think they really have kill pressure now. But Deft and Beryl, there's no cleanse between them. It's a very dangerous position to be in if either of them takes a binding when T1 have mana. We're going to look at mid, Faker on 76 stacks.
Yep, not looking too bad there as Zeus getting close to getting a plate, and he will be able to pick up the money there. Perfect is at least able to freely farm here under his turret. Only 40 CS behind.
Yeah, only 40 CS behind.
As the Condemn comes through, the Ruthless Predator is not, it's more like a Toothless Predator here towards his top side, and that's not the cool dragon from How to Train Your Dragon, unfortunately. It's just not having any teeth and being a Renekton. And that's a bit sad, as now BDD fighting against Faker here, but Carrier is in position. He is making sure that he keeps that Ignite on cooldown. Here's Carrier.
Wait, Carrier has as much gold as Perfect.
I think...
I feel like a game like this, I'm not going to lie, I would never want to play Renekton ever again after a game like this. I would be ready just to call it forever, period.
KT fans might actually be happy about that, but unfortunately, they don't get another go in these playoffs if they don't win this game. As Kyoshik has started off this dragon, Carrier is standing on a ward right now as he does move himself in. Remember, it's kind of an awkward composition to start off fights with, but Owner is certainly the one. That is the flash over there from Kyoshik, just try and put Owner to sleep. As the final spark does come in, Owner can just walk on forward, but the dragon has been taken down. Mom gets mad, connects onto Beryl and BDD, but they are already out of there. As another, oh, let's stop. Can we just stop? I don't want to look at this. It's so sad.
Yeah. Well, dragon secured by KT. Kyoshik going aggressive to make sure they have the space to get that one. Still not a great spot.
No.
That tower is looking limp in the bot lane.
It really is.
That crocodile is looking very limp in the bot lane. I love when we start pulling up the graphics really just to hammer in.
Yeah, I don't
outdo him top lane. Guys, if you didn't realize, top lane is cooked. If you win Sheer, by the way, top lane is really not going well for KT. Just in case you weren't aware, we want to really make it clear. No, I love our graphics.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn again. As Gumayushi doing that thing that he likes to do on Caitlyn, which is kill turrets. You can see has done a lot of damage there as Perfect dashing forward. And then is going to be, once again, probably relegated to only his turret one more time. The problem is that it doesn't get better, right? This is the big issue. Oftentimes we talk about these top lane matchups and we're like, oh, it's okay, they're scaling, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think the one thing is, at least when laning phase is over, you can just run away from the Vayne perpetually,
well,
you know?
Perfect did stop the back.
And you can just try and not be the one to deal with the Vayne. Maybe you can leave that to the Corki. But no, this Vayne's going to be a problem. And again, they don't have great lockdown. Like, Renekton getting to a Vayne and stunning could be really hard in the later stages. Lilia getting the sleep to proc, really difficult. There's no other CC in the composition, so... might be a big struggle in the late game in general.
Ooh, there's a final spark to come on through. That is still going to be Kyoshik picking up that grub. Might just be all of these going on over as T1 not looking to commit to this grub fight. So 4-2 going to be the advantage here on KT's side. The first good news story that there is, unless Owner will just come in and steal it away, but it's not going to be the case. As Faker here towards the bottom side, just grabbing a plate smorgasbord and looking to try and push T1 ever further ahead. Beryl is rotating down, though, and we do have BDD in position. Okay, Sneeze does connect onto 2. It's a lot of stacks. That's not too bad, but the flash forward from Beryl to try and get that snare locked in. Mom comes on through, but the slow is still going to be there. Valkyrie forward, and that is going to be first blood going to BDD on his Corki.
Able to find a kill. Faker overstepping a bit. Greedy for the plates and does go down. Beryl trading the flash. Take down the little dragon. Wait.
Oh,
Kyoshik top?
Dear. Perfect does press his ultimate button.
Kyoshik was top, but he recalled.
Yeah. Well,
guys, you were winning lane 1v1. You don't need carrier there.
It's a crocodile.
You don't need carrier there. It's just not okay.
Well, at least the gold lead has shrunk just a little bit. It is still only 1,000 in favor of T1. Made up for a little bit by the grub advantage and the dragon that KT have been able to pick up. 2 dragons, I guess, if you include this one.
Daily heal from Barrel for the movement speed, and then able to use the empowered W. Sorry, it was normal W empowered Q just to get the damage in. 500 gold there for BDD. Pretty nice.
Nice amount of extra gold. I think due to the fact that Faker did pick up a bunch of plates, that is going to mean that BDD does have a CS advantage, not to mention a Trinity Force that he has put together. Having a look at the plate money, though, wow.
That's a lot.
That is most of the gold lead.
Also, though, I want you to take note of the fact that Barrel went Slay, right? He's fully investing in the movement speed.
Love that.
He wants to go fast.
And next Drake is a Chemtech. We could have a Cloud Soul as well. Could you imagine? Think of a champion better at activating Cloud Soul than Karma.
That's true.
You press a lot of R.
I love how there's now 3 people in Tifx lane.
Yeah, Zeus and Faker are going to be able to easily take down this turret. That is going to be first turret blood going over their way, further extending that gold advantage as KT looking to try and answer here towards the top side. It's BDD that's getting the majority of that money, but the problem is the KT now having to deal with an inner turret just being focused. Rift Herald is going to be employed alongside BDD. But if it gets another charge, they might be able to answer this.
Yeah, I think if they trade even, it's pretty okay, all things considered.
With 4 grubs, this should actually be very doable,
with how
especially
low
with no one there, yeah.
I think KT are probably okay with how this has panned out. Also the gold on good members as well, BDD and Yoshi getting it.
Yep.
I will say though, Ona's kind of been farming up a storm. We've seen so many games where Lilia's just ran the Rift and been so far ahead in farm compared to Sejuani. I imagine as the game goes on, that'll be the case, but for now, Ona's been keeping it pretty close. Dragon is up. It's a Chemtech Dragon, so no Chemtech Soul, so definitely nice one to pick up.
Definitely a shout out to you there, Orcs, for paying attention throughout this entire series.
I'm dialed in.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's good to see. And now we're just praying for a Cloud Soul for all that extra movement speed, and it's an Ocean's Head.
This is honestly, Ocean's okay for T1. There's a lot of poke on KT that they can obviously mitigate, but it's a pretty lame Dragon here. A lot of squishy people who aren't going to get a huge value from the healing.
It might be just pretty good for T1, who don't really want to start fights. They just want to hit you with stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just because KT has a lot of poke with the Ezreal Corgi, it's pretty good to mitigate that. But it's nothing crazy. So, man, I mean, last game, it was a good soul, and they just weren't killing the dragon. This game, it's not even a good soul. So, you know, hopefully you get more dragon killing. We do have Barrel has picked up the Mikhails already for the cleanse, which I think is a decent investment, but I am kind of surprised that... Guys, leave Perfect alone.
It's Perfect carrier.
Is it Bully the Rookie Day? Is that what we're doing?
Must be it.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I thought you would have gone for Shrelia's and gone for that full movement speed, but obviously you can't go very fast when you're stunned or rooted.
Maybe the feedback that they got was buy less control wards so you can afford items, so maybe we still get to see it.
Oh, that's
as item number 2. That could be good.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Try and convince an LCK support not to buy 2 control wards every back.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Maybe hold 2 control wards in your inventory the entire game. Maybe that's because then you can't buy them. Okay, Perfect just wants to clear out the wave. Does stun up Zeus as he comes in. True Shot Barrage clears out the wave, but Perfect is so dead. That is going to be a kill going over to Zeus there. His Kraken Slayer already completed.
I would legitimately message Riot and ask them to delete Renekton from my account. Like, it's... Yeah. This is painful. This is horrible. This is just... At T1, you know, the lane matchup was already going good. They've really piled it on and just making this champion feel so useless.
And I think this is where, like, all of Perfect's older brothers on his team are saying, like, buddy, it's okay, we'll carry you, it's all right. And I think that they're going to keep saying that until he is...
You know what this is?
Absolutely no gold, and he's just emaciated, having the worst time.
This is where you say, oh, don't worry, we outscale. And you obviously don't. It's a small debate. Yeah. But you have to say it anyway. Whenever you're losing a game, you always have to say, don't worry, we win late. Right? Even when it's not true. And the thing is, now Guma's got a significant lead. You know, hidden top are super scalers. T1 feeling pretty good about the state of the game at the moment. And even though their composition is questionable, we'll say.
It's weird.
It's doing what it needs to do, which is make Renekton not have fun, kill towers as Caitlyn,
and just win.
Yeah.
As that was aggressive there from Def. Does sacrifice half of his health bar for it.
Yeah, there was definitely 2 directions you could have arcane shifted. One of them was in, one of them was out, and he certainly chose one of them.
Could have gone sideways as well.
Yeah, that
instead of the all-in.
Yeah.
Sideways would have got him hit by a light binding though, which is somewhat subpar. As Perfect does get a little bit of spare time, is now going to try and get himself out of there before dying to the Vayne. But now where does he go is kind of the question.
How crazy would it be T1 winning this and us not getting 5 games? I think everyone would agree we'd be completely robbed. If
yeah, that would be robbed. But it's looking like that's the direction we're headed right now.
Which is exactly what you want to say if you want 5 games.
True.
That's
what you need. I mean, I'm sorry for the KT bias, T1 fans. Yeah, this is a foregone conclusion. Yeah, 100%. T1 just going to crush him.
You know, I think the phrase you have to say is, there's no way T1 can throw from here.
That's something like that.
You say that.
We say it about a game that's like 1-to-1, but it's just the game state and the fact that you've got Perfect sitting there with like 1
Oh, he has
item.
an item. He does have an item, though. That's something.
You can break their stride.
You know what? This would have been the game where you'd have missed Prowler's Claw. And
maybe he's just singing that song to himself, you know? Ain't nobody gonna break my stride, and no one can slow him down. Oh no.
Yeah,
he's just gonna keep on moving, okay? Whether you want him to or not, doesn't matter.
This is truly the... Oh.
That's sad. Getting your stuff stolen by a Sejuani when you're a champion like Lilia, yes, does feel really bad. As Glacial Prison does come forward, Barrel's like, nah, don't need to press my Mikhail's button.
Mikhail's on that. Oh, Perfect's here. The Renekton has shown up.
There we go. Gets immediately shot at by Gumayusi, who changes targets.
Guns are pretty effective against Crocodiles.
Oh, okay. Kyoshik having a little bit of a spin here. Does get sneezed on by Faker. And it looks like we are trying to set up for this next Dragon. Dragon number 3. As BDD is pretty scary. Does do a fair bit of damage.
It's an awkward spot because BDD's mana immune isn't stacked, and Deft has the stacks but doesn't have the item. So
it could have gone for a trade.
They're not as strong as they should be right now. They're a bit behind. I think they should just give this Dragon up, honestly.
Yeah, and it's just a Cloud. I don't think they're too worried about giving that one up. We have spoken about giving things up and being like, that's okay, but then like afterwards, KT just kind of lost the game in one
masters of giving up.
Yeah, this is the problem, is that eventually you do need to get control back, and giving things up does not quite help you there.
Yeah, giving up Nexus, not a good play.
Yeah.
Giving up Singular Dragon, that's okay.
It's okay, Perfect's here to defend the turret. Perfect may not be here for much longer. As okay, there's the dash forward from Kyoshik. Does find a sleep onto 1, but it's not exactly high priority there as Gumayusi did just get so far away. Bum comes down, the minion waves are all just obliterated. So it's not going to result in too much.
They can't get onto them and they're just not doing enough damage. T1 just kind of stand there and fire skill shots at you until you lose. It's kind of the vibe at the moment. They are going to lose this mid-tier 1.
It is definitely going to go down. Yeah. The sneeze not going to quite work, but it does not matter. Gets them away from it. And so T1 got what they came for. And the problem is that I feel like T1 just gets to replicate that as they move around the map. 225 stacks here at 22 minutes here for Faker is a decent clip as well. And is it time to start talking about the scaling, right? Like, Gumayusi scales phenomenally well with items, does have 2, probably the better 2-item spike that you can get onto a Caitlyn, but probably wants 4. Zeus is just going to get better and better, and Smolder needs no introduction.
Perfect's playing Renekton. Renekton has scales, so...
That's a good point.
Oh my god, Def just missed a cannon.
Yeah.
That's a tilter. This game, it's kind of like last game. We were talking about how the Smolder felt like this mounting dread who never really showed up. Like an anticlimactic season of Game of Thrones. But so this one, this one, this one, T1 are the team who are ahead, and they have this Smolder. So it's kind of like they've got the best of both worlds from last game. They're the ones with the lead. They're the ones setting the pace. But they also have Smolder, and if that wasn't enough, they also have Vayne. So even if you kill Smolder, there's a Vayne and a Caitlyn. So yeah,
there's a lot of threats. There isn't a lot of frontline. And in fact, there's kind of none, but it hasn't really looked like that has mattered at all.
Yeah, Perfect can only stun one of them, and that's all he can do. We do have the mana immune coming in for Def. BDD's about to have his stacked. they need to get something done leveraging this power spike, because if the game just continues to meander for a while, I think KT might be in, well, they're already in trouble. They might be in
dire straits, one could say.
Yeah, up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, there's a few analogies that we can go with. I'm not going to quote any more old songs, though. I'll try to stay away from that. All right. Faker getting a little bit conversational there as he walks up the river. Gumyushi now just able to wander through himself because, of course, T1 have so much control of this map right now. And 24 minutes, it's about time, almost too late for T1 to be going for a Baron, as that's a nice fadeaway there, as Mikhails is going to be employed nicely just to try and mitigate that CC, but the final spark comes down. Deft has to flash to get himself out of the way, also using his barrier. It's a lot of buttons now on cooldown.
I love how the Mikhails is used on Pyosik, and Deft is like, now it's my turn to shift in, and he gets rooted. Yeah, not too much coming from that for KT. You know, a lot of summoners burn. I think T1 definitely happy with that, getting the flash barrier from Deft. The Mikhail's a bit shorter cooldown, so not as big. And they'll just take that. That's all they need. Burn a couple of sums, maybe look towards Ocean Dragon in a minute and a half.
I'll tell you what, though, at 25 minutes, like, a 2.8k gold lead is not very much. So, theoretically, T1, KT still have a team fight in them.
I mean, I think this is as strong as they're going to get, honestly, for Deft and BDD. This is as strong as you're really going to be. If you let the game go any longer, it's only going to get worse, and they don't feel that strong now, so that's why it's kind of feeling a bit dire. But it's possible. There's a lot of squishy members on T1.
Beryl is now probably big dead.
He's very dead.
Big time.
Yeah, I was going to say
dead.
There's a lot of squishy members on T1, so maybe you can pick someone. But Beryl's also squishy and now dead, and now Baron is gone. And the question is, will Pyosik be there in the next 5 seconds?
Well, True Shot Barrage did do a fair bit of damage. Now T1 possibly in a little bit of trouble. Pyosik, can you get the steal? The answer's no. Ona locks that one down, but Gumyushi already dead. At the beginning of this one, Pyosik down very, very low as Faker just explodes. Deft trying to get the extra autos in. He finally helps BDD take him out. As now Ona, he'll be taken off the board as well.
Oh, the TP back in?
Yep, looking for the angle here. BDD just, I mean, it's one tumble auto attack, and this Corki is just dead. And Zeus with that Night Hunter is very, very scary on the chase down. Him and Keria both with the Baron still up and available, though, and I think T1 is still pretty happy with how this one went.
You know, they managed to get a trade up in the end of it, but not the cleanest Baron. Definitely didn't really have an exit plan for that one. And now KT can pick up this Dragon. So not really going to get the value you'd maybe hoped out of securing Baron, but you didn't all die, I think is the takeaway on this one.
There you go.
BDD pretty strong now, though. Picked up a lot of those kills. Keria, you are very squishy.
Yeah, he also had to stand still to put out that final spark, which meant that BDD was able to get on over there. So that is going to be a turret going down in the mid lane as well. True Shot Barrage was searching for Keria there. Zeus getting to work here on this top lane, and I'm getting Worlds flashbacks, man. Just watching Zeus take games into his own hands. His Vayne is so incredibly good. But T1, despite the fact that they did not quite find the team fight they were looking for, it is still looking dangerous.
Yeah, it's unfortunate BDD didn't kill Keria before, because he's one of the 2 Barons remaining.
Yeah.
Oh, TP flank.
All right, it's time for Perfect to shine, ladies and gentlemen. He sidesteps the light binding. That's a great start as Keria going to be taken out first. Pyosik going to steal the kill away from a well-deserving Perfect who just needed something in this game, for goodness sake. T1 now just trying to get out of there. They've lost their support this time around, and KT looking to push further forward. True Shot Barrage to stop them from rotating around, and it is another turret to be taken here for KT. Still a lot of poke damage back. Gumyushi going down relatively low, though. Still T1, they get rid of the minion wave. They are going to be able to force KT back now, as they can't push further forward. Sorry for getting emotional there, but I think the Perfect deserved it.
He really did. He really did. Finally finds the TP flank angle. He's like, it's all worth it for this moment. Dashes onto a like 50 HP Lux, and that's all we got. That's all we got. Yeah.
Hey, they got the inner turret as well.
They got the inner turret, you know. They got a benefit from it. But yeah, this was scrappy Baron, and they're all squishy. They're taking a lot of poke. This is the point where KT is still powerful. Perfect did flash in here and execute Guma, but then Fake is still so much of a threat here with the burn. You can see Pyosik has to back away. He gets low. Deft misses that Mystic shot. and ends up going down, and it's so close to BDD dying as well. You can see slivers away.
Yeah.
In. But here, Perfect dodges the Q, tanks the Arctic Assault, and does his job.
Gorgeous. Did his job in the last fight as well, was the one that helped set things up. Honestly, front runner for POG.
Oh,
If KT...
just for the mental fortitude alone, 100%.
That's when you definitely choose the tilt-proof option.
Oh yeah, 4 tilt proofs after this game.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
And you still feel guilty.
Yeah.
You know, it's not enough to mitigate it. As you can see here, there was a little bit of a dip when that Baron did go down, but KT have actually done a decent job at just trying to stand their ground. Honestly, it's been the aim of the game for KT this series is standing your ground. And they're going to continue to try and do so as best they can.
And PDD is very strong right now. I mean, he has similar items to Faker. Faker's also strong. I mean, there's a lot of strong people in the game.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to hit on. But PDD, not far from the IE. And the thing is, like, Zeus good at baiting through bulkier targets. Faker can do a good job against bulkier targets as well, the 2 damage burn. I mean, he's good against squishies too, but BDD just chunks these squishies. Like, if he gets a big one plus empowered auto onto a squishier target here, he will just nuke them.
Well, Goshik with that stacked up passive, actually able to ward brushes and face check things. It's kind of cool, the way that they're utilizing it. Also does now have
the singular tank.
The spell shield.
You know, I can't remember the last time I've seen him, like, proc his permafrost.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't, I don't think. Not in this composition.
Old bot.
It's the most anti-permafrost comp that T1 have ever come up with. And they've come up with the most of them.
Yeah, you're just an old bot and a beefcake. Those are the 2 things you do.
And I think that because of that, like, we were looking at Def not picking Cleanse, and we're like, that's a little bit silly. But if you have Mikhails, what else is there to cleanse outside of, like, light bindings that we see right here that don't necessarily last as long as a Glacial Prison that really does feel like your avenue into a fight? And that can be used on anyone. So Beryl just says, all right, well, whoever gets hit by it, I'll just cleanse you, and it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. You know, a little bit of an oopsie there. I think we've hammered on a lot about it, but I really want to draw your attention to the item differential in the top lane.
I can see it, man.
It's so...
Everyone can see it, man.
It's very obvious, but the more you look at it, the more... It's pretty grim.
It is.
It's very grim.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, no, he finished one. Okay.
There we go.
That's grim. He's got Asterix.
He's got a gauge. He can now gauge just how incredibly far behind he is.
If only he could engage.
Yeah.
That's what he's...
I mean, and I don't want... We're not throwing shade at Perfect here. Because this is an impossible matchup for him to play out.
This was cursed.
It's just the fact that Zeus is so extraordinarily strong. How KT are going to deal with it is just a really difficult question.
Just more of an actant, you know? But now they're trying to posture mid and get some poke down.
The worst thing would be if KT wins this game and they're like, ah, yes, the blind pick Renekton, that's going to wait. Yes, Sleep is going to come on through. True Shot Barrage is going to connect as Zeus gets himself out of there, but he's now extraordinarily low. Another flash as Carrier gets himself out of there. And T1 kind of on the ropes.
I mean, you could just fish with the bowling balls, and basically anyone but Owner it hits is an immediate threat when it comes to this Sleep potential. Now they're going to start onto the Baron, but T1 are there responding. Owner's healing up with the Warmogs.
Yeah.
Kind of low on mana.
Banana Brush control. BDD kind of out of the fight right now, though, as there is the engage from Owner. Perfect, just dashing his way out, doesn't have the dominance. Oh my god! Okay, that's a Trinity Force proc. If ever I've seen one there from BDD.
Oh, they can just start the Baron, though, if you back up Perfect.
Yeah, he's in trouble, but isn't going to get snared. And T1, they have all of the traps down. The bowling ball's going to be avoided this time as BDD Valkyries his way in. Somehow Pioshik's little hooves do not connect onto the traps. Beryl not going to be so lucky. Baron down to 6,000. These rockets still coming in. True Shot Barrage doing a fair bit of work. It's a flash in from Pioshik, and he steals away the Baron. He might just die, though, and there he goes. Zeus now thinks that it's his time as KT just trying to vacate the area. Perfect trying to be bouncer now to keep his team alive. Beryl, can you press Mantra and Inspire? That's the question as Faker trying to flap his way out. Oh, they're just They're just bombing. Oh my god, the damage. And Gumayushi going to be able to take down the Crocodile once again. Ace in the hole is going to lock down Beryl. And Def, the last Baron standing, and T1, they're looking to break open the base.
I just feel to end the series here. 20 seconds of Pure Shik. He has ult. Beryl doesn't have ult. Sorry, Def doesn't have ult. He needs to try and clear the wave. I don't think he's going to have a chance.
Needs to land a few more of these Qs. Try and bring that one down as much as possible. I mean, it's taking a while because the Baron buff is going to be there. True Shot Barrage now just aimed at the minions. Nexus turret #1 is going to be taken down, though. They're trying to tank this one up as best they can. As Ona going down exceptionally low. There is the kill under the Sejuani, and Pure Shik is back up, but they're just killing the Nexus. They're just going to round 2, and KT, they're not out of the race for playoffs yet, but they out of the race for Worlds yet, but they are out of playoffs. And they're going to have to face off against B&K and run all the way up the gauntlet if they want to go to Worlds. T1, they will move forward.
T1 leads what they do best. Win lane, win game. You know, Zeus with a counter pick, the Vayne into the Renekton. We have the bot lane, the Kate Lux, a pairing that Guma and Kerry are known for. And they manage to deliver. They don't let go of control of the game. And this is similar to the previous one where they just didn't release.
Yeah.
They got control, they kept on to it. KT couldn't find their way in, and it ended up failing massively for them. It feels like T1, kind of a return to form. There were concerns about them coming into playoffs. And not only that, they break the 3-2 streaks, they get a 3-1, and Beryl's dominance over Carrier has ended.
It certainly has. Of course, they did manage to beat them this season in the regular season as well. The second time of asking, but in a best of 5, that is the big one. And Beryl unable to do it this time around. I think BDD had a decent day, but I think that a lot of it was just about the champions being a little bit more suspect. And Gumayushi back on his Caitlyn was fantastic to see.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Lux, a lane that, I mean, these two don't do a whole lot of losing on.
Yeah.
But it's the win lane, win game, like you were talking about, that was just so incredibly successful. And I just wanted to see a game where it wasn't just Renekton being picked into whatever Zeus wanted to destroy it with.
Yeah, it feels like out of all the top laners in the LCK, Zeus is the one who will punish a Renekton blind the most. For KT fans, this isn't the end of KT this year. They won't be able to go further in playoffs, but they will qualify for the regional gauntlet. They do have enough points, so they still have a chance to make Worlds. That is still a possibility. And this series definitely felt like it had some lulls in terms of the action, where T1 really just weren't given the options. We've seen so many T1 KT series get down and dirty, get hectic, get messy, and it felt like, you know, there was like little hints of that in this game, but not enough really to give KT a foothold.
And the thing that's the most fun about this, ignore this game here just for a little while, as the steal was a bit cute there from Koshik. Unfortunately, it was the positioning that just did not quite work, and my god, the damage here from Zeus as well.
The call for KT should have been more immediate. They kind of hang around like, hey, can we fight this? If they'd immediately disengaged, I think a lot of members could have gotten out, but T1 smell blood in the water. You see Faker flashing over just to get them low enough for the cleanup. Zeus sacrifices himself, but the team are there to clean up. And the ult damage from Guma is more than enough to execute Beryl here.
Yeah, Faker as well was pretty stacked up at this stage of the game as well. As they're just making sure that they figure out where the Deft has that flash up and available. Zeus confirms it. Just going to push through for the win. Yep, making sure that they hold on to the wave. Save the minions is definitely an important one.
Yeah, making sure Ona tanks it so the minions stay alive. And you see, there's one last cast of minions, the backdoor bonus isn't there. He does kill the Sejuani, but once the towers are down, it doesn't matter. He can't kill Guma and Fake fast enough. The Arcane shifts in, so the minions don't block him, but there's just not enough damage. T1 playing that exactly as they should, and Def tried, but it's not enough, and, you know, perfect. I can't really blame him for this game. It just feels terrible playing this matchup when you didn't really get support from your jungler because Pure Shik wasn't able to support. And it's a bit of a wacky comp from T1, but sometimes the chef just cooks it right.
It does, and this time it worked. I mean, the Lee Sin center, that was a whole lot of fun in game number 2. That was a little bit of a bridge too far. Maybe this is like the perfection. You know, this is the, what was it, Mama Bear? Goldilocks found that that one was just right.
Yeah.
And I think this was the mama bear as far as the level of cooking that you need to do. And now Gen G has the fateful question. Do you want to choose T1 or do you want to choose DK? Lehens and Keen are probably saying, no, don't do it. But I'm not entirely sure what they're going to go with, and it's definitely a very interesting choice.
I think it's definitely T1. D+ always gives Gen G a lot of trouble when it comes to playoffs, and I feel like Gen G kind of have T1 downloaded for the most part. So
I think so too, but there's also just the vibes. And now it's time for us to throw it over to the gentleman on the desk to break down the T1 victory.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason for the post-match interview translation. And T1 is the winner of the second match of the first round of the 2024 LCK Summer Playoffs, brought to you by Uri Bank. Let's hear from Zeus owner Faker, Gumayushi, and Kyria after their win up against KT Roaster. Congratulations, everyone. Firstly, Zeus, you made a huge impact right from the get-go. The game number 1, you confidently picked Olaf and secured your first career pentakill. How did you feel? I mean, Olaf, you know, it's something that you have to actually go for as a challenge. You know, it's not an easy champion to just lock in such a decisive moment. And I was thinking to myself, will I ever get to do a penta in my entire career? And finally, I got my penta. It feels amazing. The strategies that T1 prepared today worked out very well, including Olaf, Nilasena, and Vayne as well. How did you approach the pick and ban preparation? So we were going through a lot of options and, you know, comps, and then Olaf was definitely one of them. I don't care about other lanes though. And the last game, the drafting went kind of different from game 1 to 3. We had a lot of AD carries on the side of T1. What kind of advantage did you see in this setup? Looking at the composition on the top side, especially considering the jungle, I thought Vayne would have a really good environment to scale, so we just went for it. Now, in the second round of the playoffs, you will face either Gen G or Hana Life Esports. How do you anticipate the matchup? I mean, we're the one being chosen, so we don't have no choice, but our ultimate goal is winning the LCK, so I don't really care much about our opponent coming right after because we have to go all the way anyways. Moving on to Owner, with this 3-1 victory, you managed to advance to the second round. How do you feel? We really had to win the match today, and I'm so relieved and happy that we got a 3-1 victory. What was the most important aspect did you prepare for the matchup up against KT? I thought, you know, getting the favorable matchup in the jungle would be the ideal kind of game plan for us, so we focused on banning 3 picks in the jungle role. And in game 3, you won the unanimous POG on Lilia. So what makes Lilia so strong right now? You know, her clear speed is very fast, and also her skirmish is really strong as well. I think Lilia is a very decent pick in the current meta and patch, and I think actually it's one of the strong picks right now. Then what are your thoughts and resolution for the next round in the playoffs? Yeah, we have no choice, you know, we don't really know who we're going to face up against, but we're pretty confident, you know, with either of the potential matchups, so we will make sure to get another win there. And Faker, so today's match was an elimination match for both of you guys, and it was also the classic telecom war. What was your mindset going into this matchup? Well, being this is an elimination game, really did not really come into my head. You know, I didn't care too much about that. I just focused on the match itself, and we were able to do well on stage. So you played Smolder for the first time, and that was your 78th champion in the LCK. BDD has been playing the champion a lot, so how do you evaluate this pick right now? I could kind of tell that KT Rolster was drafting around their mid lane. You know, they were prioritizing their mid lane pick a lot. So in the last game, we thought, let's just take that away from that. And I think that strategy worked really well. And Nasus mid has been a recent trend, and it was been throughout today's series. So what are your thoughts on Nasus pick? Well, Nasus? Yeah, it is a champion. It's a very fun champion. And a lot of people are experimenting it on the mid lane, so I also am paying attention to the current resurgence of Nasus on the mid lane. How do you see T1 performing in the higher rounds, in the bigger stages? It's gonna be pretty different from our regular season form. You know, usually we lost to Genji and Hana Life throughout the summer season, but this time around, we will display a different kind of a form and performance. Now, Kumayushi, you guys picked up a win up against KT Rolster in the first round of the playoffs. How would you like to summarize your performance and your team's performance today? It means a lot considering the fact that we were able to go for many different strategies, and I think we also need to come back stronger considering that our potential opponents will be either Hana Life or Genji. And Kumayushi, you picked Nilla for the first time this summer in the first game and earned the POG. And you made some bold plays with aggressive engagement. What was your mindset during those moments? Our comp kind of lacked engaged tools, so I thought I would be the one to proactively going forward to make plays and set up for my team. And then in the last game, you and Keria picked your signature Caitlyn Lux combo. How did you view the bot lane matchup? So we were going up against Azure Karma, which is not a prominent or a meta duo right now, and the laning phase is really, really difficult. You know, it actually, a single aspect can turn the entire bot lane matchup around. So it was a very kind of uncomfortable matchup, but thankfully we managed to go through it and win. I mean, I have a feeling that Genji might choose us. I kind of prefer, or I would like to face Genji, but regardless of the outcome, we will do our best, whether it's going to be Genji or Hana Life. And Keria, T1 prioritized Senna a lot today. How do you evaluate Senna after the recent patch? After the changes, we did a lot of practice with Senna and also against Senna, but I was not sure how it's gonna be played on stage, and I was also unsure whether KT will actually play it, but I think the matchup went as I kind of expected, so I was pretty much relieved. And a lot of people predicted that support matchup would be very crucial today, facing Beryl in the best of 5 for the first time in 2 years. What did you see as the key factors? KT Rolster, they tend to kind of finish their bot lane comp in the second phase in order to add more power to the top side drafting, so we wanted to keep that in mind when it comes to our pick and bans. Then what are your resolutions for the second round of the playoffs? So we are performing on a new patch, so I think it allowed us to kind of get our hands on many different picks, and we are in a much more comfortable situation compared to the regular season, considering the changes that the patch kind of concluded. So I think we will be able to do better than the regular season. Now back to Faker. As always, T1 showcased an amazing performance in a best of 5 series. So what are your resolutions and goals for the playoffs? This summer season, we had a lot of ups and downs. Our performance was fluctuating a lot as well, but we are always doing our best, especially for the playoffs. So I would look forward to your continuous support, and I always appreciate your love. And this will be the end of the post-match interview with the T1 players, and back to the space. Thank you.